and we've got nothing to be guilty of. Our love is one in a million. Eyes can see that we got a highway to the sky. I don't want to hear your goodbye. Hi everybody, welcome to Sunday with Ally for November 18th, 2012, and we're going to talk a little bit about the guilt trip. And of course there's no more guilty song for Barbara than Guilty! So Guilt Trip is just about a month away, a month from tomorrow actually in America, and we're starting to see some exciting new television clips that have appeared this week. There were 3 of them showing different scenes and more information about the story and more clips of Barbara in action. Plus, the poster and some other different artwork has appeared. There's a big standee that has a different shot of Barbara and Seth. And if you look online, you'll see there's a big standee that shows the map of the United States and all the different spots where they stop, and little photographs, like little Polaroid pictures of what happens at these different stops. So that might be worth finding and looking for. I don't know whose house has room for it. Maybe somebody lives in a loft or a very big, mini mansion. I certainly don't have space for it, but I'm glad to see that they're doing it. Now, Guilt Trip, as everybody knows, is Barbara's first movie in a starring role since The Mirror Has Two Faces. There have been some box office projections. Some people are assuming it's not going to do such a gangbuster thing. I personally feel that it's going to be a very, very strong film for the holiday season. I think people love to go to comedies, especially family-oriented comedies. And this one isn't about a bunch of kids. This isn't Home Alone. This is about a mother-son relationship, but adult humor. By the way, the movie has been rated PG-13, which is mostly for the language. There is no nudity. I think even when they go to the topless bar, there's no nudity. Some people were worried about that. Frankly, I think the humor and certainly the language is no worse than Ellen the Pussycat, which, if you remember, things were so different in 1970. That movie was actually almost going to be rated X. An X rating, which back then meant that it would only be shown in X-rated movie theaters and nobody would have seen it, which of course was completely ridiculous, because basically what was the worst thing that was in the Ally and the Pussycat? It dealt with an adult relationship. They did have a couple of love scenes. After Barbara excised the nude scene, there was nothing terrible there, except for the fact that, she was the first person to use the word fuck in a movie. Sorry if that offended anybody, but that's the truth. I'm not going to say the F word. We're all adults here, I assume. And although Kelly Stelz, I know you're only 13 years old, so I hope I haven't offended you. So anyway, I think there's a couple of scenes in The Guilt Trip where Barbara uses some racy language like that when she gets angry and yells at Andy, who is Seth Rogen's character. But I'm not going to tell you anything more because this is not a spoiler alert. I don't want this to turn into a spoiler alert. So The Guilt Trip, very exciting. I will have more about that in the weeks ahead because I think we're going to start seeing more publicity, especially now that Barbara's done with the concert tour. It's like next, and the next thing is The Guilt Trip. Speaking of the concert tour, let's talk a little bit about the last concert at the Hollywood Bowl, which was a week ago today, last Sunday. Again, it was very, very cold. Barbara wore the big black jacket again, the black coat again. I don't know if she had the gloves on, but there are some very, very cute clips if you go on YouTube. The one of her and Jason doing How Deep Is the Ocean is hilarious. It's a great, great clip because they went a little bit off script. Jason ad-libbed a little bit, and Barbara went along with him, and he cracks her up when he comes up with this one line about my man. I don't want to give it away. Just go to YouTube, find the clip. See it for yourself and enjoy it. I think you'll like it. There were many stars at the Hollywood Bowl last Sunday, and I'm sure they filmed sequences there, but I don't know if they're going to turn up in the DVD. Here's my vision of what the DVD release of Back to Brooklyn should be. They should have on the DVD a complete version of the concert, maybe from Brooklyn, one show of it. And then there should be an alternate version that is the best from all the different cities. That will include all the different songs. You know, If You Go Away, The Way He Makes Me Feel, what else did she add? On a Clear Day, My Man, all the different songs that she added later on and other songs that she dropped. I want a document, a DVD that includes all the songs, all of them. Not just the ones she did in Brooklyn, not just the ones she did in Chicago or Philadelphia. I want all the songs. I want Rosie. I want all of it. Okay? So that's my hope. And if Barbara Camp is listening, that's my vote. That's my thumbs up. Speaking of Jason, we heard news this week that Jason is expanding his singing career. There's a new film coming out for the holidays called Scrooge and Marley. It's a modern day version of the Christmas Carol, gay themed, and he's been asked to sing over the end credits, and he sings this song called Amazing. And if you go online, you do a Google search of Jason Gould, you can see a little preview of the movie, but mostly you could hear Jason's vocal, which is excellent, excellent. So this is wonderful for him. I mean, Barbara must be so excited that Jason is developing this new career, and he's getting multiple opportunities to go out there and sing in different ways. I don't know how much more live performing he wants to do, but clearly he likes recording and he likes making music, so more power to him. By the way, on the subject of more live performances, there has been no announcement of additional Barbra concerts. Now, as I told you last Sunday, there has been talk about Barbra possibly announcing further concerts. I'd heard South America was a very likely spot, Japan, China, Israel, Russia even. But as we get closer into the end of the month and into December, we don't hear anything. That might be a good thing. That might mean that she's not going to do any more concerts because she's going to get back into progressing with Gypsy. I did hear from my sources that she is home and resting and reading Julian Fellowes' latest iteration of the script. Supposedly the people involved are very, very satisfied, very pleased with what he's done. So that is inching closer and closer to an announcement, and then pre-production, and then production. That might be the direction Barbra's going in, more so than doing more concerts. Now, just to be fair, let's argue the other side of the argument, okay? Billboard this week came out with a list of box office tallies for live concert performances. 10 of Barbra's shows were listed in the top 20 of that list. The only shows that weren't reported on were the 2 Brooklyn shows from the Barclays Center. Now, there was one Barclays Center listing that was Justin Bieber, but that was for a November 12th concert. Nothing from October at the Barclays was listed. Now, maybe that was because of Hurricane Sandy and they didn't have all the box office tallies, or for some other reason. But those 2 shows weren't listed. However, of the other shows that were listed, Barbra was number 1 with the Hollywood Bowl appearance, which was 2 shows, made over $7 million, $7.8 million. And the other shows averaged over $3 million a show. Now, of course, that's not all Barbra money, because she has to pay her production team. She has to pay for, I'm sure, all kinds of expenses. But even so, you can see how lucrative it is to do concerts. It's just an amazing thing that in 12 dates, you can make as much as, let's just say on the outside, if it's even half of the total, let's say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 million. So $20 million, you're not going to make $20 million doing a film that you have to shoot for 3 months and then collect money on the back end if it's a box office hit. But if you do 12 shows and the shows all are considered quote unquote sellouts, and all of Barbra's shows were sold out, whether you saw empty seats or not, they were considered sold out. There's a vast amount of money to be made by doing 12 shows. And then that doesn't even count the ancillary income from things like merchandise and concession. They cut people in on the concessions. For example, when Barbra did the MGM in 1994, for example, part of her payment was the money that the casino brought in. Now, it's entirely possible that when they negotiated the contract for this time around, when she went to the MGM Grand, she got a piece of the action from the casino. Who knows? But that's a lot of money. Then there's the DVD sale, which we don't even know when that's going to happen. I heard possibly March. Then there's the CD, which again, we don't know when that's going to come out, but that's, another revenue stream, as they like to call it. So doing a show, as much as it's a big production as far as creating it, putting it together, getting it on the feet, getting it on the road, going from city to city, doing the shows, there's a lot of benefits from doing a concert tour as successfully as Barbra's done it. So, like I said, you gotta weigh what's more important. I think she proved a lot with this concert tour. I think she proved that she's still the preeminent female vocalist in the country. No other woman packs a stadium or packs an arena the way Barbra does. Not Madonna, not Lady Gaga, not Britney Spears, not Carly Jepsen. None of these other chicks, as my friend Alec likes to say, none of these other chicks draw the way Barbra does. Of course, Barbra is a living legend, and you would expect her to pack the arenas like this. But expectations and realizations are two different things. And even though I know within the inner circle of Barbra fandom, some fans complain and fetch, oh, she should have done more cities, she should have gone to different places, I saw empty seats, why were the tickets this price, whatever. This was a great thing, and I think it was a good tour. I think it's Barbra put on a hell of a show. I think she made it much more of a show by adding Chris Bodie and Il Volo and Jason and Rozzy and Caroline Campbell and the chorus. She wanted to give value for the dollar, and she could have simply kept it, real basic. She could have had like a 5-piece orchestra, 5 pieces behind her and a stool and a pianist, and still charged a fortune and sat and sang 20 songs. But she doesn't think that way. She thinks big picture. She thinks like a director. She thinks what's going to be a good show for people. And I think that's what Back to Brooklyn was. It was a really good show. I know I felt that way. So speaking of interesting shows, I have not watched it yet, but the Music Cares tribute to Barbra came out this past week. Thank you very much to Shout Factory for sending me the complimentary copy. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I was just speaking to my friend Todd Sussman, and he actually had some problems with it. He didn't care for some of the way it was edited. I'll reserve judgment until I see it myself, but I'd like to hear from you. So if you guys have any thoughts and you want to email me or contact me via, when I post this up on YouTube, that's fine. Speaking of YouTube, I really do apologize that apparently there's something wrong with my settings because my synchronization is off. I'm going to try to fix it today, but if I don't, please forgive me. This is, a stupid problem, but I'm going to try to get it worked out. It has something to do with me installing new software on the iMac, and Photo Booth didn't update, or they have to transfer. I don't know what it is. I'm going to do the best I can to get it synced up, so please be patient. Same thing with people who've ordered a copy of Barbra Memories. I have 4 outstanding orders on eBay. I've just had to reorder the book because I only had a couple on hand. I'm also having a really hard time packing. I know I said this before, but it's really true. It's hard to pack with this. Now, last night I did manage to pack up the Barbra photo CD, which I had asked people to contribute to my Nothing's Impossible project. Those will go out this week. Again, forgive the delay. Also, if anybody is interested, the Nothing's Impossible project is still collecting. I do have some huge year-end expenses, medical expenses. So anybody who wants to contribute to my cancer fund, I'd appreciate it, and I will be more than happy to send you the Barbra photo CD. Okay? Finally, I'm going to try to get to the end here. The Normal Heart. There was some Normal Heart news this week. Apparently, Ryan Murphy, who does Glee and American Horror Story, purchased the rights to Normal Heart well over a year ago. And Ryan and Larry Kramer sang Ryan's praises, praised him up the yin-yang about how he was great. Barbra had been a crappy director-producer because she had had the project for so many years and couldn't get it done, and it instigated last spring this whole war of words between Barbra and Larry again about who was right and who was wrong and who was telling the truth. Barbra even did a truth alert about it, saying, going point by point about when she got it, what her dreams were for the project, how she wanted to make it a feature film, how Larry and her could not come to an agreement on certain aspects of the play, transferring it to the movies to make it more cinematic. Then Barbra specifically said that she'd had a deal worked out with HBO to have Normal Heart turned into a television movie. They could have had it done, and Larry wanted more money. He didn't want as much money as he was getting from HBO, and he nixed the deal, and the movie wallowed in, not getting made. And now, after all this time, this week, Ryan Murphy made a deal with HBO to make it a TV movie. Now, Larry Kramer is a jerk. I'm sorry, I'm going to just say it. The guy is a jerk. This could have been done probably 10 years ago with Barbra Streisand directing it for HBO. It would have been seen by millions of people. By now it would have been out on DVD. More and more people would have seen it. It would have won awards, but Larry Kramer didn't want to do it with HBO 10 years ago. But he's willing to do it now because Ryan Murphy probably sat him down and told him in no uncertain terms, I can't get financing for this movie as a feature. And neither could Barbra, and neither could anybody else. So accept this or never see this play turned into a film. And finally, I guess Larry agreed. Now, Larry, if you're listening to this, if you're watching Sunday with Ally, write me and tell me I'm wrong. Because it sounds to me like this is the end of the road. It's The Normal Heart on HBO or nothing at all. And that's even with Julia Roberts, Alec Baldwin, Mark Ruffalo, and Jim Parsons, all named as cast members of a potential Normal Heart film. Ryan Murphy had those names, went to the studios, tried to get the project financed, and couldn't do it. I think it's, I respect Larry as a writer, although I think any writer worth their salt, his or her salt, should have more than one project that they use and hawk for the rest of their lives. I mean, he basically said the last time he talked about this that he had no other assets except The Normal Heart. Well, he has other assets. He did a sequel to The Normal Heart called The Destiny of Me. And he certainly is capable of writing other things. This is a man who was, I think he either won or was nominated for an Oscar for writing the film adaptation of Women in Love. He also wrote a really terrible film adaptation of Lost Horizon, which I'm sure he would love to expunge from his resume. But anyway, the point is, HBO, Normal Heart, maybe a year from now we'll actually see this thing finally done. I'm kind of glad that it's happening this way because I really want Barbra to watch the film as an observer, walk away from it, move on to Gypsy, move on to other projects. And I think after Guilt Trip, she's going to get a lot of opportunities. Because I think a lot of people are going to say, oh my God, Barbra Streisand, the actress, is back. I got a script for her. I got a story for her. I can't wait. So guys, that's it for this week. Just to give you a little update on me personally, since I do love to share. Some people think I share too much. This Thursday I had chemo. So far so good. My hair seems to be getting a little bit thinner. I see it all over my sink, but it doesn't look too bad today, so thankfully for that. We're in, I think, week 3 of the cast. It's starting to look kind of gnarly. You know what they don't do anymore? They did this cast in blue. It's like, I can't get anybody to sign my cast. Do they not do that anymore? Remember when kids used to have the white, white casts and everybody would sign them at school? Nobody signed my cast. But then again, I don't go to school. But I'm learning to get by. It's still hard without a thumb. That's the hardest part. You can't write. In fact, people who've ordered copies of the Barbra Memories book, I haven't been able to sign them. I can't hold a pen. I can't hold a knife. It's very difficult. By the way, if you do want to buy Barbra Memories, and I hope you do want to buy Barbra Memories, you can go to ebay.com, search Barbra Streisand books, or, as I've shown you before, go to the book patch and order Barbra Memories there. Okay, it's 23:13. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm really, really glad that Thanksgiving is coming this week. I'm looking forward to seeing my family. I'm looking forward to having a good time. I hope you all have a healthy holiday, those who celebrate Thanksgiving here in America. I hope you all have a healthy, good time. Drive carefully. Don't eat too much. Enjoy yourselves. And I'll see you next Sunday, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, for more of the Barbra Streisand Videocast. Who knows what's going to happen by next week? So exciting. I fully expect we're going to see even more stuff on the Guilt Trip. So until then, this is Ally Waldman, your Barbra Streisand Videocaster, signing off. Bye-bye.